Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, what's actually going to happen to TikTok?
Also, do we have a new international soccer handball controversy?
All that and more on the way next. Hey there, thanks for checking out the RadioU Podcast. We'll get today's show started with the 1 minute Big Mac challenge. This is a big time for competitive eating.
Yep.
I mean, it was their biggest weekend of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say we just had the hot dog eating competition, and I didn't watch it because I'm always disgusted by it. And so the fact that now we have a new trend with people trying to eat something very quickly, I'm like, this is just horrifying to me.
There's some aspects, and I was watching the hot dog competition.
Yeah.
And while Joey Chestnut ate 70 and a half, I think, hot dogs, he did not break his record, but he did win by a long shot. I don't think I could do what Joey Chestnut does.
No way.
But like you see some of the other competitive eaters, and they're putting up numbers like 25 or something in 10 minutes. And and you think to yourself, could I? You know, like I think I could.
Yeah.
I think I could. But now this is a challenge that's going around on TikTok that's giving you the opportunity to show off your competitive eating skills, where people are seeing if they can eat an entire Big Mac in under 60 seconds. And some people can do it, especially if you're a competitive eater. Obviously, you should be able to knock it out. But the average person may or may not be able to get it done and may wind up choking. And
no!
Yeah, people are having some real issues getting down the Big Mac.
Yeah, I have not really watched any of these videos, but it is a trend, and I'm just like, I know for me, I would probably have massive heartburn if I tried to eat a burger as big as a Big Mac in less than a
Do you
minute.
think you could physically do it, though, even if you had bad effects afterwards?
I don't think I could. I don't think I could scarf it down that quickly.
Big
a
Macs
lot of
are
bread.
Like big enough that you would have to. It's not a slam dunk.
No.
I could eat a McDouble in a minute in no problem.
I could probably do a McChicken.
You are the McChicken queen.
I am the McChicken queen. I feel like I should test that out, but because I usually like to savor my McChickens. But this is something I may need to try.
I'm also watching these two guys right now do their own 1 minute Big Mac challenge. They're eating fairly leisurely, and I think this one guy is definitely going to do it. Here, he has 18 or 28 seconds left, or 18 seconds left. He's almost done. Yeah, so like you don't have to go crazy.
You don't, but I think
some people try to go too fast.
And then they choke.
Yeah.
I think
Faster
for
than you
me,
need to.
I'm not the type of person that is a fast eater. I don't take big bites. So I just think I would be behind the 8 ball trying to do this.
Have you ever done any food challenges?
No.
You didn't do the cinnamon challenge?
No.
I had to do that here on RadioU.
Oh, no.
Not in the studio. We had to go outside to film it. And people were upset.
Why?
Because they're like, you're telling people to do something dangerous. It was dangerous.
I know that was very controversial. I had some friends that did the Chubby Bunny challenge, which was also dangerous because people were choking on that.
Isn't that with marshmallows?
That was with marshmallows.
Yeah.
You try and fill your mouth with as many marshmallows as you could and then say Chubby Bunny.
And that's dangerous?
Because you would get to the point where you would start like choking, and then what are you going to do? You got marshmallows stuck in your mouth. So also marshmallows like soak up moisture. So your mouth would be completely dry.
And they're just gross, so...
It'd be pretty disgusting.
Yeah. They're not even toasted. That would be no fun. I did, this is not dangerous, but the cookie challenge.
Okay.
Where you put a cookie on your forehead and see if you can get it into your mouth.
Oh, the Oreo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that?
Like twitch your face or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw people do it, but I never tried it.
I was good at that.
Okay.
I think I was good at that. There was another food challenge. What's the other food challenge? The cinnamon challenge, the Chubby Bunny. What's the other one that I was thinking of?
I don't know.
Man, now this is totally...
I mean, they've got the Ghost Pepper challenge.
I was thinking... Yeah, I never did that.
Nope.
I was thinking...
Hot ones.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking of... Okay. Back up. Pretend that we were just talking about food challenges and we didn't just have this whole thing here. And I'm like, I've never... the only other food challenge I've ever done is every time I eat spoonfuls of peanut butter.
Oh.
Yeah, that feels like a challenge.
It does, but it's so good.
Yeah, and I have a trick.
You do?
Yeah, you want to know my trick?
What's your trick?
It's not healthy for you, but if you have a jar of corn syrup, you just put a little drip on each spoonful of peanut butter, and that lubricates it.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like there's already corn syrup and peanut butter.
Yeah.
So you're just adding a little to just smoothen the ride down your throat.
Okay.
And it just adds a little sweetness too. So
I don't know if I'll ever try that. I used to, as a snack, when I would get home from school when I was a kid, I would grab a spoon and get a spoonful of peanut butter.
Did you stop at just one?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't stop.
One was enough for me.
I could eat like a whole jar.
A whole jar?
I could, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's the thing about peanut butter is that never while I'm eating it makes me feel full. So I'll be like, sometimes I want a snack and I go get the jar and I just keep going.
You just keep going.
And if you look at the nutrition facts, that's so many calories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One scoop was enough for me.
Probably why I look the way I do. We're back from July 4th weekend. Allie, I need a report from you. How was your July 4th?
It was great. I had a lot of fun. Got together with family on the 4th for a little cookout. We set off some fireworks, which were fun.
You did your own fireworks. How did that go? Did you get to light any of them yourself?
No, I stayed very far back. I'm not willing to risk my life for a firework. So,
But
there was no hazards, like no danger.
Yeah,
we were fine.
Normally very safe if you just know what you're doing.
Well, I don't claim to know what I'm doing, so I don't want to even put that to the test.
Well, I'm glad that at least one of us had the good old backyard fireworks show.
Yeah, well, how was your 4th of July?
I didn't do any backyard fireworks.
Okay.
But I did go see a fireworks show.
Okay.
And it was a great show. Also, drone show. And here's the I like the drone show. There's a lot of room for improvement with drone shows.
Okay.
If you've never seen a drone show, I've seen 2 now. At least the ones that are, like the ones that would be put on for July 4th by a town. It's like the drones will form into one image.
Right.
And it'll be like an eagle. And then they'll kind of like blink around for a few seconds very slowly. And then they'll maneuver and turn the lights into a different, and then it'll be an American flag.
Yeah.
And everything takes like 30 seconds. It's not very fast paced.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of room for improvement with drone shows. But you think about the positives of drone shows, they don't bother pets. They're quiet. And there's a lot of, like, you can go to 2 different drone shows and clearly explain to somebody who didn't see either the differences between the 2. Fireworks, I've said this for a long time. In our lifetimes, what has changed with fireworks? They're the exact same.
They don't need to change.
I know,
they're fun.
I'm not saying get rid of fireworks because I love them and they're fun, especially to shoot off yourself. But I just feel like we haven't made a lot of advances.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to. I think I'm always impressed with the different fireworks shows. Red, White, and Boom is one that happens nearby for us that live here in Ohio, and that's always a huge show with lots of people that come and see it. So I don't think there needs to be any improvement. What I will say though is I do like that we have like certain days of the year where we're just accepting and okay with it being loud. We're just all right with it.
Most people are. Don't go on next door.
And that's true.
They're not happy.
Yeah, but you're always going to have people that are going to complain and say really crazy things. I saw a really fun TikTok about these police officers that were explaining what to call the police for on the 4th of July and what not to call the police for on the 4th of July. Because a lot of people do call them about things that are not illegal at all. So
another benefit of drones. Again, I love fireworks. I'm not saying get rid of them, but there was videos in Ocean City, Maryland. People thought there was gunshots at a fireworks show. It was just fireworks.
Yeah, it's just fireworks.
So another thing that you can have drone shows whenever and not make people upset.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna be upset with them, but. There's just something special this weekend, July 4th, best weekend of the year.
Yeah.
Everybody was together in the park. We're all different walks of life, but we're all celebrating. You have the freedom. You can do what you want. You go to the fireworks show, you don't go to the fireworks show. No obligations.
Yes.
The best weekend of the year.
It's so much fun, and I love that I can just be like laying in bed and hearing boom, boom, boom all over the place. And I don't have to worry about it being gunshots. It's something else.
Yeah.
It's fireworks.
Yeah, and if you've grown up in the right places, you know the difference anyways. July 4th weekend ended on a sad note for U.S. soccer fans as they fell in the Gold Cup final to Mexico last night, 2-1 in a game that shockingly did not end in penalty kicks. Allie, I was watching this game and I realized not only am I like, I only watch soccer when it's national teams and like big finals like this or whatever, the World Cup. And I thought I knew a few of the rules of soccer. I realized watching this game, I have no idea. Even the rules I thought I knew.
Yeah.
Because the game ended in controversy. I'm not the only one that was confused and some were upset. But I thought a handball in soccer was when you touch the ball with your hand.
Yes.
And you're not the goalie.
Right.
Apparently that's not the rule.
Apparently
you're
not.
allowed to just touch it with your hand.
Apparently not. There's a caveat for it, and a time when you can touch the ball, not being the goalie. And that is when I suppose you're breaking your fall, because that's exactly what happened to this certain player for Mexico, Luis Sanchez.
Yeah.
He fell on the ball, and his hand is fully on the ball. Obviously, it's not like just a quick little graze.
There's
fully
no dispute
palmed.
that his hand touched the ball.
No.
The dispute is, by rule, was it a handball? Because now I'm seeing the rules, and apparently there's room for interpretation. It's not just, did you touch the ball with your hand, as the name of the rule might indicate.
Seem, yeah.
But I'm reading the rules, though, it even still is not clear whether, and so that's why it's controversial and this was in the box, so if it was ruled a handball, which it was not after it was reviewed, if it was, it would have been a penalty kick.
Would have been a penalty kick.
And that would have changed the game.
Yeah, because at that point, I think it was still 1-1. And so that would have given the United States the lead. But Mexico obviously went on to win 2-1. So who knows? It may have gone to penalty kicks after all if they would have scored on a penalty kick there. But yeah, I would agree with you. Reading these rules, it is very unclear because it's like, okay, these just seem to be up for interpretation. Rule number 1 for handball: deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm. All right, so it has to be deliberate. Okay.
Deliberate means you deliberated over it.
Yeah, it means
like you thought about it.
You thought about it, you're using it as a defense.
I guess in the moment, clearly this guy, he didn't deliberately touch it because he was falling.
Yeah.
He didn't have time to think about it, and he was in the box. If he did think about it, he would have gone, I shouldn't touch this with my hand in case it leads to a penalty kick.
Yeah, you would think. So another thing is...
I don't know why I gave him that accent. He's Mexican.
Yeah.
I don't know. My hand.
Yeah, my hand. The next part of the rule says that it's a handball if he touches the ball with their hand or arm when it has made their body unnaturally bigger. So like the player has made their
I hate
body...
when my body becomes unnaturally bigger.
I don't know what exactly that means.
That happened a lot this weekend.
Like extending the arm out or whatever. So next part of it is that when they score on the opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if accidental.
So obviously that doesn't apply. So,
no.
So as someone who I'm assuming was cheering for the U.S., and that actually knows something or two about soccer, how upset are you now that it's all said and done?
I mean, it definitely sucks that they lost, but and U.S. and Mexico, they are kind of big rivals. They always seem to be playing each other in the Gold Cup final. So it just is kind of a game for bragging rights, and it always is an intense game. But to come down to this type of controversial thing, it's never fun to look back on a call and be like, if only, you know, you hate it when a game comes down to that.
I always say this about other sports, basketball, football, where people complain about the referees. And I'm like, honestly, if it was that close, then it's not the referee's fault.
No.
It's your fault for having it, especially in basketball, be that close.
Right.
That it came down to one call. But in soccer, it's so different because scoring is so rare that referees actually can, like, if they
can make a huge impact.
Whatever they decide on this did make or break the game. Doesn't mean the United States would have won, but it would have given them the odds of them winning swung wildly based off the outcome of this one play and this one decision.
Yeah, but I still can see why they didn't rule it as a handball, so I'm not like super duper upset because reading these rules and seeing what happened, it's like, it is kind of up for interpretation on this is a handball.
That's good that you have your emotions in check. I'm not upset, and it's because I just expect the United States to lose at soccer.
What? They've won the Gold Cup several times.
I know, but it's not our thing. You just got to accept it. It's time for our Monday tradition, the box office breakdown, looking at what made money and what didn't in theaters over the weekend. And of course, let us know what you've seen lately. We love to see your reviews and share them on the show at 877-2-RadioU. I'll tell you what made money this weekend. Your number one movie in America and in the world, Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, if I told you that in the traditional weekend it only made $91 million, that's a lot of money, but it doesn't sound that crazy, right?
That's a decent amount. Honestly, that's more than what I thought you were going to say. But in the 4-day,
there's way more than that.
How much did it make in the 4-day?
So if you count, you do count, going back to when it released earlier last week, it has made $147 million.
This is worldwide or just in America?
North America.
Dang, that's impressive.
It's made over $313 million worldwide already.
For a movie that didn't have great reviews, that's honestly really impressive.
Yeah, right? Based off of the reviews that we had read on Thursday in the weekend watch list, it wasn't sounding promising for Jurassic World, but people still want to see dinosaurs.
And honestly, 4th of July weekend, people want to go see a fun summer blockbuster.
Hot, you get into the air conditioning. Yeah, nice way to get together without, defeat the heat. It did very, very well despite its lackluster reviews. Also this weekend, F1 the movie came in a distant second, making another $26 million.
All right.
And number 3 was How to Train Your Dragon, still holding strong with another $11 million. Now, 8772-RadioU, get your reviews in for anything you've seen lately. I'll tell you that Nathan texted in. Nathan said, I went and saw F1, definitely worth paying for, recommend it, and I don't usually enjoy racing movies.
See, this is what I've heard. F1 I didn't think was something that appealed to me. Every person I've talked to that has gone to see this movie has said, go see it. Go see it in theaters. It's worth it. It's a great movie, a great time. You'll be blown away. And I'm like, okay. I'm starting to wonder if I should give it a shot in theaters.
Yeah. I also saw F1.
Okay.
And over Jurassic World, and I think I made the right choice. F1... It's a fun ride. It's directed, I think, by the same person that did Top Gun Maverick. It's very much in the same vein of this is not a storyline that's all that unique. Old grizzled veteran driver gets called in to join a team that also has a young up and coming driver, but he's cocky.
Yeah.
Can they get along? Will they fall in love and, mentor each other and whatever? Right. And so you just find out all of that along the way. So it's not exactly an entirely new concept, but you do get, to me, I got surprisingly emotionally invested.
Okay.
It does kind of take some twists and turns that I wasn't necessarily expecting.
Love that.
And I'll tell you, I was impressed by how much of the percentage of the movie is actually them racing, actually spent
so
on
it's more than you thought, more racing than you thought.
Yeah, it is F1, but you're like, how are they going to tell a story.
Yeah.
And also have them be driving around in cars all the time. But they really did, so much of it actually takes place on the track.
Okay.
And so you get a lot of action there, and that part is shot really well.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I also watched Happy Gilmore over the weekend, and I noticed the same thing about both movies. But especially F1 of I don't know anything about F1 racing really, but the way that they're so over explaining especially the announcers are doing all the exposition of how racing actually works.
Yeah.
Which they would not do if you were actually watching it on TV.
No.
They wouldn't be and the guy who crosses the finish line first wins the race.
Yes. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
It's really boiled down that, and I'm I'm not a dummy, but I'm kind of glad they're doing this.
Yeah.
But but I wonder if people that actually watch F1 are this is so overly explained that gives people some credit. But if you're watching it in Europe, but it was really fun though.
Okay, yeah, I do. I feel like I need to give it a go, give it a shot. Well, over the weekend I watched the only movie, in my opinion, that you should watch on 4th of July. No, I'm kidding. You should watch it any time of the year because it's my favorite movie of all time, The Sandlot. Watched it. It's so perfect for 4th of July, but like I said, I think any time of the year you can watch that movie and you'll have a good time.
That's a classic.
Yes. And then I also watched season 3 of Squid Game, which is the end of Korean Squid Game and sets up what we're getting now in Squid Games.
Wait, we're getting more?
We're getting more. And
I don't need this.
I'm honestly not super happy about what we're getting. Like the tease for me was a little bit like wah wah. Like I don't believe this at all. You know, it was already unbelievable as far as what was happening, even though Squid Game is based off of a true story, by the way. If you didn't know that, look that up. But what they set up for the future of Squid Game is like way unbelievable that you're just like, okay, this is almost laughable now. But will I still probably watch it? Maybe. But I think I'm okay with Squid Game being done now and just taking a step away.
Yeah, just back away from it.
Yeah.
Even if they do kind of come back and pull you back in with more things, you don't need more things.
No, the Korean story finished up.
You got enough
they
things.
tied off all the ends. I don't need to watch the new version of it.
Yeah. I've heard from Mrs. Hudson watching it and from you and from other people. At first, it was like, oh, you've got to watch Squid Games. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle it. And now, the more I've heard, the more I'm like, I'm glad I haven't invested anything in this.
Season 1 is really good. I would watch Season 1.
Just like Game of Thrones. It's finally happening. After decades of Americans demanding a third party, a third political party, we're getting one. 8772 Radio U. And we're getting the American Party, or the America Party. Started by none other than Elon Musk. And the irony that many people have already pointed out is he's calling it the America Party, even though he himself is South African, right?
Yeah, he's not American. I guess I didn't realize that he was still like a South African citizen, but a lot of people have pointed that out since he made this post on X over the weekend saying, you know, all right, I've heard the demands. Here it is. Here's your third political party. And it's like, was anyone really demanding this from Elon Musk? I mean, I know a lot of people have said that they're unhappy with the two-party system, but do we want Elon Musk to be the answer?
This is from following politics for so long, and I'm not saying that I never want a third party, but a majority of people, and he even said this, right? 2/3 of people want a third party. They don't really feel happy with the two that we have, the two main parties. But that's when you just ask, do you want a third party? People will say yes. But all of those people's ideas of what the different party should be is all different.
Yes.
It's like, I want a third party and I want it to be started by this person that I like, or like have these ideas.
Yep.
And so the odds that Elon Musk or whoever starts that third party is able to peel people away from the main two parties is always so unlikely. Now, if anybody, I don't want to say if anybody can do it, Elon Musk has the money to make it possible.
Yeah.
And you do need money that's one of the big problems with, just getting anything started in politics is the other parties have so much money and donors and blah, blah, blah. But still, like, he has to put people in. He can't run for president.
No.
Because he's South African. He has to put people in that people will want to vote for to make this viable. And who knows? Who knows about that?
Yeah, who honestly knows? And I just think, as you pointed out, like our brains, would we love to have more options? Because oftentimes we are very like, ugh, these are our options.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we also are like, well, if I vote for this new third option, then it's a vote for something I don't like because I'm, taking away a vote from something else. So it really does, the whole concept of having a third party, it's just going to take forever for anything to actually work, for somebody from a third party to even win. It's almost impossible now.
I don't want to discourage Elon Musk or anybody from getting another political party started.
Sure.
Because I think even if it's not a party I would vote for, I think that having more ideas and having more competition can be good for the other two parties.
Yes.
To have to actually earn people's votes a little more than just being like, well, you don't like them, so you have to vote for us.
Yeah, right.
But I still feel like it's such a long shot the way that everything works now.
Right. I think our brains truly do actually like it when there's two options and we have to pick between those two options.
Yeah.
I think our brains lean into that a little bit more. So that's kind of why, just speaking on it from a psychological level, that's kind of why we end up with two-party systems. Growing up in Zambia, even though there were several parties, I mean, talking in like the tens of lots of parties, there were only 2 that usually won.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of how our brains, we navigate towards 2 things and 2 options, even if there are more than those 2 options on the board.
And another thing that can happen if you have more than 2 parties, because like a lot of other countries are this way, where they have many political parties, is like to win an election, then you don't need 50%. Like in the United States, it's almost half of the people that actually vote are voting for whoever wins. You could have it be where like literally only a third of people vote for whoever wins.
Yep.
And then that means 70% of the people didn't vote for whoever wins.
Yep.
And
Zambia solved that, though, with they would have a runoff.
Oh, so you just whittle it down.
Yep.
I mean, we could do it, but that's not how it's set up now. Something that I've learned in life is that your relationship determines your reaction to a situation.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. If you were out this weekend, you were at the beach, and somebody was throwing a football and it hit you in the back of the head. If you turn around and it was your buddies throwing a football and it accidentally hit you in the head, you'd be like, you might be a little upset, but you're not later going to go like, one, you're not going to get into a fight over it.
Yeah.
And you're not later going to go to your friend, to some other friend and be like, can you believe what Dave did to me over the, he hit me in the head with a football. Like it's happened. It's going to be over because that's your friend. You built up a lot of trust and love.
Right.
If it was a stranger, if you're a hothead, you might get into a fight over it. Be like, watch where you're throwing that thing.
Right.
But even if you're like me and you'd apologize to them.
Sorry for being there.
Yeah, sorry, I was in your way. It was my fault, definitely.
Oh, no.
But then I'd be telling people afterwards, I'd be like, I can't believe. Didn't they know where they were throwing the football?
Right.
And that is, your relationship determines your reaction. Or like, let's say you go out to dinner and a friend of a friend, and you're like, I'll cover the tab, everybody Venmo me. And a friend of a friend is there and they stiff you. You're going to be like, I never want to hang out. Like, let's not invite him ever again. But if it's your friend that stiffs you, you're like, yeah, it's just Jonesy.
Yeah.
Like 1 out of 4 times he'll get you back.
Yeah.
If we just accept that. And that's how it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, your relationships determine your reaction. And this is why this is important, is because God sees you as a friend. You know, like he has that love and trust, and he knows you and he loves you.
Right.
So when you're making mistakes, when you make bad choices, or when you do something wrong, God's not mad at you like you would be mad at a stranger for backing into your car. He's like, yeah, that's who you are. You know, like, I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to forgive you because I love you. Mm-hmm. God is there, not ready to be angry with you, but ready to love you like a friend loves you, because he wants you in his life.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves you so much that he sent his son to die for you. And so when you have that feeling of like, I just don't think God would ever give me a chance if I ever tried to have a relationship with him, believe me, he is right there waiting and ready to have a relationship with you. He's been pursuing you ever since the day you were born. Even before that, the Bible talks about God knowing you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. So yeah, it's crazy to think that people kind of get overcome with that feeling of like, oh, I'm never going to be good enough and I'm never going to be able to even try and talk with God. It's like, yeah, we never will be good enough for God, but that's why he gives us grace. It's a free gift. It's why he wants a relationship with us, because we never will be good enough to like earn our way into heaven or something like that. So yeah, he's ready and waiting to have a relationship with you. All you have to do is say, God, I want to know you more. I want to understand who you are, and I want to experience the love that you're offering to me right now.
Yeah, don't feel like you're letting God down or like you've done too much to be away from him. Jesus is there. He wants to be in your life. He wants to be your friend and with you through all the good times and bad times. And if you want to experience that, you can start talking to him right wherever you are, or go to radiou.com/free gift to find out more.
Hudson, have you ever heard the expression, oh, you're like the biggest star in the universe, the biggest and brightest?
Yeah, people tell me that all the time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a classic phrase from like a mom to say that, oh, you're just the biggest and brightest star. You know, well, we need to celebrate because our star, which we call the sun, is not the biggest and brightest. It's not the baddest. And that's a good thing.
Okay.
It's a good thing because research shows that the biggest stars, the most massive and huge stars of our universe, are actually the really dangerous ones to be around. Because not only do they live a much shorter lifespan than like our sun, they kind of burn bright and quickly and die young. Researchers call them the rock stars of the universe because they are powerful, they live fast, and they die young.
Okay.
But also, when they are kind of getting to the point where they will collapse and then cause a black hole to happen, they do what they call... There's no official term for this, but we'll just describe it as vomit out material.
Like this?
What? That sound effect was terrible, but yes. The end of that was way too extreme. But yes, essentially, they vomit out material and a lot more than what researchers initially thought. So these are stars that are more than 100 times bigger than our sun. These are literally so massive. And they have a lot more what they call like interstellar winds or just stellar winds. And they're more powerful than previous estimates. And these winds are powerful enough to blow outer layers of the stars into space.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that the biggest, brightest stars in the universe live fast, die young, and vomit before they collapse, leaving a black hole in their wake.
Exactly.
Wow, this is so relatable to me. I really am one of the biggest and brightest stars.
It's so crazy. But yeah, we should be celebrating that we are not living by one of the biggest stars in the universe because they don't last as long, and they burn really bright and they are very powerful for a moment, but then they cause a black hole, which if you don't know what a black hole is, it's basically such an intense area of gravity that not even light, any type of anything can escape from it. And so it's just like anything that comes close to what they call like the horizon zone of the black hole just gets sucked into it. So, we don't want that. We don't want to get near any black holes.
No.
So we should be celebrating.
That was one of those things that I really worried about as a kid.
Black holes? Yeah. Honestly, same.
You know, like the John Mulaney thing about quicksand, and then you never have to actually experience quicksand in real life. Black holes, same thing.
Right.
I definitely saw cartoons where black holes were a problem, and I was like, oh no, what if a black hole appears?
Right. What if I'm suddenly near the event horizon of a black hole? Right. What do I do then?
I'm glad we don't have to worry about that in our solar system.
We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about massive stars vomiting on us.
Yeah. Well, just me. Love them or leave them on RadioU Mornings. Send in your situation to mornings@radiou.com. We'll see what we can do to help. We have a classic situation here. You have a breakup, but your ex still has your hoodie.
Oh, no.
However, the roles are reversed. Normally, this is a guy experiencing the hoodie that has been lost. This is a gal who says, I recently broke up with my boyfriend. Well, technically, he broke up with me.
Oh.
We were out on a walk when he said something like, I've got a lot going on in my life right now, and I don't think I have time for you.
Ooh, did he really say it like that? That's awful.
She put it in quotes.
That's awful.
Which, okay, fine. It hurt, but I get it. Anyway, here's the thing. I had this hoodie, my absolute favorite hoodie, and weirdly, he ended up wearing it all the time. I didn't mind, even though it's usually the other way around. Yeah, right. He basically adopted it, slept in it, wore it to events. It was like his second skin.
Whoa, this is very odd.
I honestly thought it was sweet, and maybe it made him think of me. But right after we broke up, like literally right after, the first thing he says is, by the way, can I keep your hoodie?
What?
That really stung. It kind of felt like that was the most important part of the relationship for him. Like, was he in it for me or just the hoodie?
Oh my goodness.
So now I'm stuck. Should I ask for the hoodie back or just let it go? What would you do?
Oh no.
8772 RadioU. After a breakup, do you ask for the hoodie back? I can say, at least for me, I've definitely been through this before.
Yeah.
So I can have some firsthand advice on this. But 8772 RadioU. Do you ask for the hoodie or any belongings, clothing back after a breakup?
I've never been through this experience before, but I do want to see people's thoughts.
All right. We'll see what people are saying. 8772 Radio U on this love 'em or leave 'em situation. We'll start with Mindy, who says, it's yours. And if you have anything of his, give it back. You guys should trade. No need having anything around to remind you of each other. You'll have enough memories on social media, pics, memories, etc. Don't have to hold on to material things. So Mindy in favor of getting the hoodie back and giving him any stuff that that you have of his.
Yeah. Heard from Logan. An interesting take from Logan. He says, I wouldn't personally ask for my personal belonging back. I would let them keep it. I've had several exes keeping stuff of mine. I also let them keep it because I want them to remember what they're going to miss.
Dang, Logan.
I love that take. That's so funny.
I love that too. I'm kind of on Logan's side here.
I mean, I kind of am too, even though I've never been in this situation. I think that's so funny to be like, yeah, you keep it and you remember me.
Yeah, take that. Take that. So I've been through this, and it definitely depends. There's not a hard and fast rule to me on everybody exchanging everything afterwards.
Yeah.
You're well within your rights to want it back, and like, it is yours.
Yeah.
In this case, and it sounds like a good hoodie.
Sounds like a nice one.
It sounds like a really nice hoodie, but it depends how the relationship ends too. And like, so you have to, it's just a sliding scale of how much you want to ever interact with this person again versus how much you really want your stuff back. To me, the scale is very much tipped towards just let them have it. It's not worth, like, if they broke up with you.
Yeah.
Some might say it's taking control back, like having some kind of closure of getting your stuff back. But also I'm just like, do I really want to have to deal with them anymore?
Right.
Just let them have it.
Right. I remember I had a friend in high school. She had a really bad breakup, and honestly, she thought she was going to marry the guy. Mm-hmm. And she had one of his hoodies that she would sleep in every single night. And like, it was like a comfort thing for her, almost like a comfort blanket.
Yeah.
And when she broke up with this guy, or he broke up with her, she gave him the hoodie back. And then we went and picked out a new hoodie from like Target, just so that she could have something new, but it was also comforting and also like a nice, comfort blanket for her that had nothing to do with this guy, and no memory of this person when she would, wear it or go to sleep with it or whatever. So there's also a thing of like being emotionally bonded to somebody through an object.
Right.
That's a thing.
Right.
And so if you want to try and get over that person quicker, it can be a healthy thing to kind of give them their belongings back.
Yeah. Now here's the difficulty. If she doesn't, let's say, we don't know if she has any stuff that belongs to him, but she doesn't want to get back, like go through the hassle of trying to get the hoodie back.
Right.
But what do you do with the belongings you have of his that you don't want to keep anymore, but you also don't want to talk to him about it, Like, how long do you hang on to those in case he's like, hey, can I have my stuff back?
Right.
Before you just throw it away or whatever.
Yeah.
You can also, though, like, the best thing to do, and he might say no. It sounds like he wants to keep the hoodie, so even if you ask, he sounds like he might be the kind of jerk that just keeps it. But the best thing to do with these things, too, is, unless you broke up on really good terms, to have somebody go in between and just be like, hey, come pick up this stuff that belongs to this guy and drop it off, and try to not have to face-to-face interaction with them, even if it's not the worst terms. It's just like, why do you need to go through that?
Right.
So
don't put yourself through that emotional turmoil.
Put one of your friends in. That's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah. I think we've solved this one.
Yeah.
New fear unlocked. Having a live eel swimming in your abdominal cavity.
Oh my gosh,
this happened in China, where a man showed up at a hospital with a pale face, sweating profusely, complaining about stomach pain. They did a CT scan of his abdomen that showed there was a foreign object that had pierced his stomach and ended up in his abdominal cavity.
Pierced his stomach?
It pierced his stomach. They did an emergency surgery, the doctors did, and they were shocked to find a live eel swimming in his organs.
Oh my goodness. That is terrifying, disgusting. How did this happen? Make sure. I just want to know how we can avoid this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I think this guy wishes he knew how he could avoid it. And look at the picture. Like, this is not. It's not tiny either.
This looks huge.
It looks so big. It's hard to actually get perspective on it because there's nothing to compare to. But it's in this bin, and it is. It seems like a very much larger than anything you imagine getting in your.
It looks like a part of your intestine, like your small intestine or something.
So let me see if I can find out how this actually happened. I mean, they say that the eel had drilled through his intestinal wall, but how did it get to his intestinal wall in the first place without him noticing?
It has to be through something he ate, right?
I wish I knew. Is known as soft soil. They say, although medical experts involved in the case did not discuss how the eel got into the man's colon, it wasn't too difficult for people to they say he sat on it.
He sat on the eel?
That's what somebody wrote.
Oh,
yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
The theory.
No, that can't be how that happened.
I don't know. There's no official explanation.
That makes me really sad because I need to know how to avoid ever having an eel get into my stomach.
I think watch what you eat.
Right.
And stay out of water are the two safe things you can do.
I think I'm probably pretty safe because I usually don't get into bodies of water that have eels in them. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably good. But I'm more worried about this being in some type of food that you eat.
Yeah.
And then growing inside of you
what kind of food would have an eel inside?
I don't know. This is so strange.
I don't think
every part of this story doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's pictures to prove.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
but
definitely happened.
how and why did it happen?
It's best not to think about it. Let's just memory hold this completely. What is going to happen with TikTok? 8772 Radio U. I'll tell you one thing. You could follow us on there at RadioU Official. But what do we go through this? 2 or 3 times where it's oh no, TikTok's going to be banned.
It just feels like every couple months we keep talking about this because it's they keep pushing the deadline back and then they keep giving more chances for ByteDance to sell, but ByteDance doesn't seem like they want to sell. It's just craziness.
It's gone on long enough that 2 or 3 times into it, I'm okay, so they're just literally... The law that was passed doesn't actually matter, and TikTok will never stop existing in the United States, one way or the other.
It feels like the boy that cried wolf. At this point, we're going to stop listening because we're not worried about it going away anymore.
I definitely had just given up on, I wasn't worried about TikTok going away, but now there seems to be somewhat of an answer of an exit strategy plan to transfer TikTok to U.S. ownership.
Okay.
And so that would keep it running one way or the other in the United States. Here's the idea. Here's the rumors. There's a new app that is being worked on, being developed, currently codenamed M2. Not that it would continue to be named that. I don't know.
That would be a weird name.
That is being developed alongside of the sale of TikTok's U.S. operations. M2, whatever it is, that version of TikTok could go up in app stores as soon as September 5th.
Okay.
And then you would have that, which would be one version of TikTok, and then you'd have the version of TikTok that you already have. They'd be running side by side during this sale until eventually, probably around March of next year, the TikTok that you currently have would cease functioning, but there'd be this other version of TikTok that would be new and American and that you'd be able to use.
Yeah, it'd be owned by Americans, but I would imagine it wouldn't just be American. Anyone could probably join it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that the rumors are that Oracle is the company that's going to be buying the American version of TikTok. I'm kind of confused, why they need to make a whole new one.
Right.
It feels a little sketchy to me of what's wrong with the one we have that we can't just keep it.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm just a little nervous about it.
Yeah, because ByteDance has continually claimed, the operations for the American side of TikTok, it's all American. It's in America. You don't need to worry about the information that's being, farmed from TikTok. You're all good. So why now are you trying to create a whole new thing what's the issue then to just sell the American portion of, the TikTok operations?
I'm sure there's a lot of things about it that we just don't know and don't understand.
Oh, well, absolutely. That seems to be what they're saying.
And maybe a lot of that isn't stuff we want to know.
Well,
wouldn't be good.
That's why I don't have a TikTok anymore because, first of all, I personally feel like TikTok is a time suck, but and I don't find most of it to be that entertaining. But also, I was a little bit worried about what might be going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like all of the other apps that I have also take the same information.
We just keep coming back to somebody's listening to me.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be Amazon, or I just don't want it to be TikTok, the Chinese government, or whatever.
I was going to say, it does the whole aspect of it being like a government that is not the friendliest towards the United States does make it a little bit more worrisome, and that's probably why I deleted it and just was like, okay, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I can get my fix on short videos on Instagram and I'll be okay. But yeah, the same information is still going to Facebook.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg has it if the Chinese government does it.
Right.
And they're probably friends, so they just
they share it all anyways.
So yeah, what's the big deal?
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.